Hi, Pisces Sun and Rising. Welcome to your December 2025 Astral Update. It's Reina here. So, I have been talking about some November transits because I'm recording this in November, and especially the Venus and Sagittarius transit is on the 30th of November, so it's practically in December. But then it got me thinking about other transits in Sagittarius that are occurring in November that you should be aware of, and especially somebody like Pisces, because Sagittarius is your 10th house of career. So that's a very important area. As I'm recording this, I'm 11:11, or actually now it's 11:12, right after midnight. Mars is in your 10th house of career, so that can make you very ambitious and very aggressive or assertive about going after what you want and grabbing success by the throat. And because of this tendency to be very aggressive, you have to temper yourself because the 10th house can be authority figures, and not everybody that has a career is doing it themselves. They may be working for somebody else, and those could be the authority figures. And you might, in your quest or your zeal for getting ahead, might step on some toes, might ruffle some feathers because you're kind of putting yourself out there. It can be a very competitive energy, but it can be very productive. So that's a great thing. And on the 21st, I believe it is, I don't have that down here, but that's when the sun goes into Sagittarius. So that just enhances this goal-oriented part of yourself. The 10th house is ruled by Capricorn in astrology, so it's very much about, it's also like the leader and things like that. It's very much about your public reputation, your success, and career matters, that sort of thing. On the 30th of November, Venus goes into this sector. This can, kind of temper the Mars aggression, but it can also make you charming to other people, be it the public or higher ups who want to help you. They want to kind of open the door for you, give you opportunities. It can also be about money. So this could be a time when you receive a raise. And because Mars has been here, Mars may have been really just kicking butt and making you look indispensable. Maybe you've been working overtime even, and now you're going to reap the financial rewards. On the 4th of December, we have a full moon at 13 degrees of Gemini, another mutable sign, the opposite sign of Sag. This is your 4th house of home and family. There could be some sort of endings here. You have some renewed activity in outer planets in your sign, Pisces. So you may be dealing with a lot of revisiting of things. And the 4th house is a house of your past, your childhood, the house of the mother, in some cases the father, but your family of origin. And because of this, there may be something going on that is connected to the past that you are finally letting go of, or that you are maybe at first you're realizing that it even is a thing, and then you're letting go of it. So with the full moon in the 4th house, there can be this connection to real estate matters. Maybe you are finally coming to terms with the fact that you want to move, you're ready to move, you're letting go of a property. It can even be with acquisition, like because full moons can bring abundance, where you're finally able to access something, acquire something. On the 10th, Neptune, your ruler, turns direct at 29 degrees of Pisces. So disillusionment might have been something you've been grappling with for the last several months about yourself, about your life in general. Maybe you were very idealistic about something that you were involved with that was very personal to you, and now you experience some kind of, um, I don't know if I call it like a negative reaction, but just something that didn't go your way. Saturn is also in Pisces, so that may have helped in a strange way. Saturn goes direct on November 27th, so by the time that December rolls around, Saturn is already direct. And Saturn wants you to shore your foundations as a whole in your life. And that means you have to put your energy into things that are very tangible. Neptune is very intangible and very like in La La Land. But Neptune is a very beautiful influence. It's very inspirational, of course, very spiritual. So I'm definitely not trying to disparage the influence of Neptune. It's simply that it doesn't deal with the real world. And so now that Neptune is direct, you can go back to your, uh, this is, I was going to say like, and I guess I was being a little facetious, go back to your illusions about your life, but really go back to your idealism about your life, because I really do believe in the law of attraction, even though I don't necessarily believe it is so exact the way that they always say it is. I think that there's a lot of leeway for things to still manifest without having to do exact things. But I do believe that we have to believe in these things to begin with. I think that that's very important. So that can definitely influence your life in a positive way. On the 11th, Mercury goes into Sagittarius. And again, we're talking about career matters. Maybe you are thinking about things very deeply as far as career matters go. You could even be speaking to people in a public sort of way when Mercury is in Sagittarius. On the 15th, Mars goes into Capricorn, and for you, this is your 11th house. It's a friendly angle called a sextile. Mars is very gung-ho and passionate, energetic. And this is a house of friendships, group associations, as well as being a humanitarian house. So one thing that I do associate with Mars in the 11th house is activism, because there's that humanitarian element, and Mars is very, um, like the warrior, the person who's fighting against some kind of evil or something, inhumanity, unfair practices. Because Mars can be conflict, if you're with friends, it could be that you're not seeing eye to eye, but maybe you're clashing more than normally. Sometimes this can indicate that you are outgrowing your friends. You just don't feel that you're in the same place anymore that you have this connection with them. There could be different things that you come to the conclusion about on the 19th, but it could simply be that you're just involved with them more than you normally are. On the 19th, we have a new moon at 28 degrees of Sagittarius. So, a new moon in a late degree of Sag in that career house could be that you are going to have more opportunities come your way. And that can be very exciting because you might have like doors opening up for you and you have the opportunity. Sag is a very expansive sign. So that's something that I think about as well. Set your intentions for what you want to manifest. Plant seeds of intention for your career that may sprout, if you will, or whatever you want to call it, at the full moon in whenever that is, in May or June, in Gemini. On the 21st, the sun goes into Capricorn, and on the 24th, Venus goes into Capricorn. And again, we're talking about that 11th house for you, the house of hopes and wishes, the house of gains, definitely with Venus being connected to money. That could be something, Pisces, that you see an increase in your finances, because it could be, 11th house can be the gains from your career or your business. Okay, that's what I have for you, Pisces. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.